Good morning, everyone. This is Penny. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, whatever time of the day you are in, this is Penny once again. And today I am fortunate to be interviewing a friend of mine, Kevin, who I met last year at the Breakthrough to Success of Jack Canfield, and we were both assistants in that program. So, Kevin, would you like to introduce yourself?
Penny, it's great to have you interview me. Thank you so much for the kind invites. Yeah, my name's Kevin Davenport. I fly professionally for Jet Blue Airways. I'm based in Boston, but right now I'm temporarily assigned to Long Beach, California. And I started a side company, Stratus Leadership Development, where my our team's focus is to help other teams grow and expand and have better relationships with not only the teammates but their customers.
Oh, you mentioned you have you're a pilot, so you fly JetBlue, and you have a side hustle. I love that. I love the side hustle. But how is it like in the US now? And you're a pilot. How is it affecting you?
Well, things happen really fast, and it was thinking about a week and a half ago. Things were going up pretty well. Even 2 weeks ago, things were great, and then all of a sudden, the coronavirus came out, and most of the states are on lockdown or home. They call it home safety,
Mm-hmm.
and we can still go outside. You can walk around, you can run, you can exercise, walk your dog. If you need to go to the grocery store, you can do that. But as far as like a social gathering, no more than 10 people in a setting. And
Mm-hmm.
then again, they want you to keep your social distance at least 6 feet away, which a lot of people are just kind of staying at home and just kind of hanging out at the house, and really nobody's going out. It's kind of eerie. I went for my walk this morning and there was a few. Usually you see a lot of people, but there was not a lot of people in the past week.
Oh, really? And then you said 6 feet apart, and you are a very tall guy. So my arm's length to you is double. My arm's length is double your arms. I really can't forget when we were together and we were assigned at the doors, and I was looking up at you because you're so tall.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mention that because my niece, when she was younger, when she was a young child, she used to say, she goes, Uncle Kevin, you're so tall. And I said, it's all a relative point. I said, if I was playing NBA basketball, I'd be the shortest guy out there.
Oh, okay. So it's really, 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 really nice talking to you now that everyone is on lockdown. So now talk to me about your side hustle.
Well, like I said, it's Stratus Leadership Development. I specialize in leadership, building effective leadership teams, and also bringing team cohesion,
Mm-hmm.
building a team cohesion, more efficient teams. You know how to get the best use out of your workers. You know, make sure they're doing the right thing. And when
Uh-huh.
I say right thing, it's like you wouldn't want me as an accountant. You know, numbers are not my thing. You know, as far as like adding and how everything works like that. But you know, you'd hire an accountant for that. So it's getting the team on board and how to get the most out of your team. And it's been slow but sure, but a lot of people that I have worked with have really appreciated the work. So
How did that come about? That one we never talked about last year. From flying to leadership, cohesiveness, team training.
well, I kind of I noticed on my bookshelf I have a lot of leadership books, biographies on fame, uh, presidents, generals, people who have written about leadership, and I thought to myself, well, and you see all these people pointing fingers at each other. You know, it's your fault. It's and they sit there and they don't take the blame, and they point the finger and say it's your fault. And I thought, well, this stuff isn't being taught, and we've all worked for that boss, over probably the course of our career, where they just got the job because it was an extra dollar an hour or maybe $2 an hour, but they have no training, they have no skills. And I thought, well, there's a niche to that. I can use my background as a pilot, and when I was in the service, I had leadership training there, so I can use that and pass that along to others.
Wow. Wow, I love the side hustle. You were in the military before
I'm right
flying?
Yes, I was a Marine Corps, U.S. Marine. Believe it or not, yes, from 86 to 90. So I was 18 right out of high school.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that as well.
yeah.
Learning something new about you every day. So now that you're not in complete lockdown, you're fortunate we're not allowed to go out, not even walk the dog. So poor my dog over here, my golden retriever stuck in the house, couldn't even stretch,
Oh, wow.
couldn't walk the dog. Um, Now that you have time, and you said you're in Long Beach for a month, now that you have time, what do you do in your spare time in the whole day?
Holy cow. Well, that's, to be honest with you, it seems like business is starting to pick up even more than it has been. And I think it's just because, we have that Jack Canfield positivity training and the motivation and just to do, I guess, more of an encouragement. We encourage others. And I've joined a lot of groups. I even started a group, the Tournament of Readers, this week on Facebook. I'll send you an invite. And it's just, you can share what books you're reading. If you want any tips on writing, please, ask the group, and just to kind of support one another. And it's just very, to be that beacon of light for others. And like a friend of mine, she was feeling down and out. She's a trainer at the gym, and she didn't feel like going out, but she did anyway. And she says she was just feeling a little bit down. And I said, well, just remember, take about every hour, set your clock or set your alarm on your phone. And just when it goes off, just take a moment and appreciate what you have. Breathe, 3 or 4 deep breaths, and just look around and see what's good about where you're at that particular point.
Mm-hmm.
And just little things like that, I think help people kind of get through the abnormal, what's going on now,
Yep.
and something we've never faced before. Now we're facing it.
I remember having said a statement, business as unusual, not business as usual, but business as unusual, because your business now is picking up at this time of crisis. So it's not there is always opportunity in crisis, right?
Oh, that's right. And I wouldn't even call it a crisis. It's just something we're not familiar with. I'm sure the health professionals are working on an antidote right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we've not really seen. So what do we do as people? What do we, in the Philippines, in the US, in Europe and Asia, what are we doing? And so it's just now you got to reshift your thought process. How can I get to that client? And as an employer, or as a coach, or you being the employer, or reach out to your employees, and just kind of find out how they're doing. I mean, a little bit means a lot. So people
Oh,
appreciate that.
oh yeah. I let me share a bit. I was watching the Assistant Secretary of the Department of Labor, our Department of Labor, and I know her personally. And I was telling her, I watched her on TV, and I sent her a text message to say thank you for the hard work that you do. I just watched you on television being interviewed, and I said, stay safe, God bless. And she said, thank you very much for appreciating the work that we do. Those small things count a lot now, right?
Oh yes. And I don't know if you saw in the news, even a couple of our senators ended up, quarantining themselves because they thought they had the virus. And so they said it could hit home even in the Senate. So it's very, it's very real, and people shouldn't take it too lightly. And I will admit, at first I was kind of taking it lightly, but I'm like, no, I'll follow the guidelines, and they're there for a reason. And so I'll just kind of do my own thing and make
Mm-hmm.
the best of it. And like I said, I started writing my book. So I don't know how long it's taken me, but and that was one of the fears I had. I'll be honest. I mean, am I a good writer? I don't know. I've written a children's book. And then I started second guessing myself, well, who's going to read my book? And I've had a lot of people, especially now, use my airline experience to kind of how to overcome and how to develop a mindset to kind of keep moving forward. And I thought, wow, maybe I'll use that.
Oh, I like that. I like that the thing that you mentioned about writing your book and who will read my book. How do you overcome that? How do you overcome that now that you're writing, finally writing your book?
I look at it, I look at it and if those thoughts creep into my mind, I say, you know what? I'm just writing it for Kevin. I'm writing my thoughts on paper. And, I just keep writing. And, most good writers will say they take it one word at a time. So you don't have to write a masterpiece the first time out. You can go back, you can edit, you can research, you can proofread it, make
Yes.
changes. It's up to you. Nobody's reading it. You're the only one reading it at that point. So
You can also reach out to others to help you. Remember, we're
that's
all
true.
we're all here to support you.
So, but how's your book coming along? I know you put that out.
So I have two books out, and the first book was no, how I never thought I'd write a book just like you. Uh, but when Jack, our mentor, asked me to write a story for his book, Living the Success Principles, I said, Jack, I'm not a good writer. And he said a single statement that will forever change my life. Two sentences. He said, "Don't worry, I'm a good editor."
I'm gonna write that down. I'm putting it.
Don't worry, I'm a good editor. That's what he said.
Don't worry. I'm writing that one down.
So I wrote my story and it came back to me edited by Jack. And I said, "Oh, so that's the secret to writing a book. Find a good editor." So I already published two books.
But it's funny because when I was in high school, I could barely pass English composition, and a run-on sentence. I had no idea what it was. And as time went on, I have books on composition. I have books on essays. I have books on grammar. And I started reading it. And then I've taken a few business composition workshops. And it was funny how much I really did know versus what I didn't know. When I was in high school, 30 years ago, I didn't take it seriously. And I look back now and I'm like, oh, that's what a passive sentence looks like.
And now that remember what Steve Jobs says, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards, right?
That is true. And a friend of mine, he's a writer. He writes for he used to write for a periodical, a newspaper. And one day we were chatting, and I said, Rick, I said I got to go home and study a little bit of grammar, maybe about 30 minutes, once a week, twice a week. And he says, you do more than the average person. And the one trick I started learning is like where a comma goes. So I'll watch the captions on the news, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
say, well, and I'll look where the commas are.
Okay.
And it seems like the commas, everybody loves the comma. So, it's, they death by comma.
Oh, my dog is here. Yeah, yeah. I'll show you my dog. My
I'll see.
dog. My dog. There.
Oh, there he is. Look at him.
Hey, Sushi, that's her name. Can't go out.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's a golden retriever, a big dog.
Well, the funny thing is, a friend of mine for my birthday, she just sent me a stuffed golden retriever.
Oh,
So I call it my dog. I can't have a dog because I'm always gone. It wouldn't be fair to the
yeah.
dog. Never be around. So I always send Mary like memes on, golden, like have a golden one day and I'll send a golden retriever.
Mm-hmm.
So for my birthday, she sent me this stuffed golden animal, golden retriever animal. And I said, well, it's
You're
my virtual dog. Yes. Walk him, I don't have to feed him. And
okay. So thank you for telling us about your journey to writing your book. Thank you for sharing with me. I didn't even know that. I know you're a pilot, but all other things that you were in the Marine and now that you have a business and your business is doing very well. It seems that people are connecting much more now than we've had in the past. Uh,
it's, the irony is Jesse and I just had this conversation. I notice more people are waving at each other. You're walking down the street. Hey, how are you doing? You're saying hi to people. And it's kind of people are getting out of their cell phones and they're wondering where everybody's at, including me. And I'm like, you know what? I just want to make sure, hey, if I say hi to somebody, maybe that made their day. Who knows? And I'm a people person. I like interacting with people. And it's actually been very hard for me to kind of not have the interaction with people. And so that's why I'm really going out of my way to be even more helpful. I shouldn't say I am helpful, but just to help others out, maybe make them feel a little bit better about their day.
Oh, yes. That's so important, the relationship. We can't give hugs now, right?
Oh
No
yes.
hugs, no BTS hugs, silent hugs, none. It's all virtual hugs. And it's
Yeah,
hard for some people whose love language is touch, no touch,
and it
right?
really, yeah, and it really is really a different world. I mean, it's who knows. Uh, you can't really have the interaction like you used to. Like, and it probably will come back. I'm sure it will in the next, maybe 6 months, a year, whatever it may be. And it will be good to see how everybody reacts um, when everything kind of goes on back to normal, or as close to normal as it can be.
Back to the new normal.
Back to the new normal, yes.
Yes. So, uh, any advice that you can give to other pilots who may not be as fortunate as you, having this, you're still in Long Beach, still employed? What about the other pilots in everywhere in the world who are
Uh,
not flying?
well, and I'll share. Keep a routine going as best you can. If you and set up your day in advance and continue to develop. I know it sounds cliche, but develop your skills. Keep reading on what's going on in the airline industry. Keep studying what you need to do. In fact, a friend of mine, he's just starting out as a pilot. He's 18. He's in college, and I know his parents, and so I've been kind of a mentor to him. And so my advice to him was, he's 18, so I can say have a backup plan too, because you never know. It's a very, very strange industry, and this is the third time I've kind of gone through something like this. I went through September 11th, and then I went
Yeah.
through the turn in '08. And this is uncharted territory, but just have a backup plan. And that's kind of where I'm at now when I started my business, because I didn't want to go through the furlough. And it's very hard to get a job as a pilot in a non-pilot environment or non-aviation environment,
Yep.
because a lot of people know we're going to go back to flying. That's what we spend a lot of our time and investment in. But for anybody else out there, stick to a routine. Write down what you're going to do the night before, and especially if you have kids and you're homeschooling them. That way, the kids know what they're doing. There's no surprises,
Mm-hmm.
and also take time to escape from reality. Pick up a novel. Give yourself permission to read a fiction book, and I started doing that, and I find myself a little more relaxed, and just I can get a good story and just kind of get lost in the story. And it's really a nice way to better myself, and opens the creative side of my brain. And I just about 2 years ago, I probably would have never read a fiction book. I was all in the business, and I was starting to get a little burned out. Finally, I gave myself permission to go back to fiction. And
Oh, I like that. I like that. I think it's been ages since I read a fiction book.
and and there's great online resources too. I mean, there's masterclass.com. I've signed up for a couple
Mm-hmm.
master classes, and I'm really enjoying that. And that's a nice, instead of watching TV, I'll pick up the master class and just do maybe 20 minutes of that, and then take notes, and go about my day.
Okay.
And Zoom.us is a great way to interview people. Thank you again, Penny, for this kind invitation, and it's been a lot of fun.
And then thank you for all the advice that you're giving. Stick to a routine. Do something, read nonfiction books, connect with people, And that's what we're doing. And sometimes when we watch too much TV, we get tense.
Oh yeah. And keep the news to a minimum. Yeah, maybe twice a day for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and it's all the same. And don't watch it before you go to bed, otherwise it will just bring you down.
Oh, thank you. You're the second person, I think second out of four, who said don't watch news before you go to bed.
And listen to a little a meditation song, or maybe a Gregorian chant or something on YouTube before you go to bed. I do that in the morning before I start my day, and I
Yeah.
just try and stay in my routine. And if I start to feel down, maybe I'll start journaling about how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing, the one thing I will share, I started a mood barometer, and I go 0 through 10. And so every day in the morning and then at night, I'll circle how I'm feeling. So like for this morning, I put down a 6. I was feeling pretty good. And at the end of the night, I'll make another line 0 through 10 and how I'm feeling at night and why I'm feeling that way. So it might be and it's a way to find out why I'm feeling down or why I'm feeling up. What made me what made me a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I had 3 Zoom calls scheduled. I got my walk in, got to enjoy the silence when I was out for my walk, got to meditate a little bit. And
Oh,
it kind of,
I
which it goes back to an old teacher of mine. Back when I was 7 years old, she used to do the behavior barometer. And then if you did good, she'd have you make positive signs on one side and bad on the other. And then she would move it. If you acted up in class, you'd go to the bad side.
I like that. Something that you learned when you were 7 years old.
And it just get, for some reason, it just dawned on me. I said, well, some days I feel lower than others. And I'm like, well, why am I feeling so down? Well, a lot of it tends, if I'm tired, I tend to get cranky when I get tired. I think we all do, but I've noticed that when I'm tired and I fly a lot, then I start noticing my numbers go down.
Okay.
And so I got to remind myself, okay, why am I down? So that way it gives me something I can work on.
Okay. So mood barometer in the morning, and then another one at night.
That's correct.
Okay, I shall try that. 2 things I learned from you: nonfiction books, and I have a lot of them. I haven't read,
Uh,
and mood barometer in the morning and at night.
uh,
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin, for this conversation.
oh, thanks,
I
Pat.
had
That's been
fun.
awesome. Thank you.
So thank you. And what time is it there?
4 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific time.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock at night. No, 7 o'clock in the morning. See, I can't keep track of the days and night. 7 o'clock in the morning here in Manila. So with the time difference, it really is. We are just one. The
Oh yeah,
world is so big, yet with this forcing us to be home, we're connected and we're just one.
right. Oh
Really,
yeah.
just one. So stay home, stay safe.
You too, and drink a lot of water.
Yeah, I have my coffee. My coffee says grateful,
Nice.
grateful,
Nice.
and I have my water over there. Okay, and you too. Stay home, stay safe. Don't go out too much.
All right. Well, you do the same.
Okay, thank you very much once again.
All right. Thanks, Patty.
Bye.
Bye.